Garrick from the Export Beer Garden Studios, and all brought to you by 4 and 20 Pies. Welcome in to the Mad Monday podcast for Monday, the whatever it is of August at the moment. My name is Manaia Stewart. I'm joined in the studio by Dai Henwood. Good morning, Dai. How are you, mate?
I am phenomenal. Heading into the back end of the season, I've got a smile on my face. I always love seeing you, Manaia, but I sort of thought I might be doing this with Keezy, but then I did a little. I fell out of Supercoach last week. And I thought I'd have a little check-in on a Sunday night to see where everyone was. And Keezy got pomaded to death. And ever since that happened, he was like, my head's not been in the game this week. I can't. I better step out of the any league duties.
Yeah, he stepped down from the podcast, citing, as you mentioned, a jam-packed weekend schedule. I was with him for the entire weekend, and here I am, still rearing to go. I've watched as much league as he. I actually watched a few games with him across the weekend.
He was throwing out, look, all early season. He was throwing trades out like candy out of the back of a van in a school car park. And then come the end of the season, he's run out of candy and he couldn't lure any big players into his team. And, hey, you talk the big game, but you fall out just before the final. Yeah,
this is what happened. So, unfortunately, he couldn't join me on the commentary on Friday night. Myself and Tony Lyle commentated what was, in the end, quite a tense match. The Warriors eventually beating Manly 29-22. Here's how it sounded.
They go back door. Tohu holds it himself. Tohu's still going. Tohu scores. Now they come through that potent right side of tap by Dylan with Dennis Alessia catches it. He launches, and there is no better finisher in the National Rugby League in the right-hand corner than Dylan with Dennis Alessia. DWZ stepping, bumping off. It's still going against DWZ, making his way to the line. He scores again. DCE through the hands. Here comes Saab. They make aeroplanes as well, and it's try time. Here comes Jason Saab again, and you will not score two easier tries than Jason Saab. Johnson, backdoor. This is how they score their tries. The Warriors, DWZ, and he scores again. The Super Freak is in. SJ turns Manata under. Here comes Manata. He's broken away. No one's with him. Can he go all the way? It looks like he can. He will. Sean Johnson in position. He lines it up. He takes the kick. And Sean Johnson hits the drop goal. That puts the Warriors two converted try at the head.
I smelt it. Sean Johnson dealt it. What a treat.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Tony. Well, a little disappointed in my math at the end there, saying that Sean Johnson put us two converted tries ahead, because what I was trying to say is they'd need to score a converted try and then score again.
Yeah, two full scores ahead.
Yeah, I went 2 + 2 is 4 - 3. That's one quick math, and it didn't quite add up. But that game, Di, for you, was that quite a tense affair?
It was a really tense affair. Going into that game, we've come off what would be 4 pretty average performances, right? Against Wests, the Titans, 3, sorry. Wests, the Titans, and Canberra, right? We let that Canberra game go.
Oh, boy, did we.
Right at the end, even though we won. The Titans niggled us early and put us right off our game. We struggled to stay in that, but we won. Wests just went balls to the wall, but we won. How good is it having a little bit of a form slump, but still winning?
Yeah.
Because you look at other teams, but this is what pisses me off about the Aussie media. Every week the Rabbitohs lose and they go, next week the Rabbitohs are going to go on their streak. Yeah. And they're the only team who can win outside of the top 4. Oh, no, the Warriors aren't doing too good. It's like, well, we're winning.
Yeah, we are winning. And like you say, at quite a difficult time of the season as well, because, the injuries are starting to pile up a little bit for us. Don't forget that Tamari Martin's still out. I mean, obviously, Luke Metcalf's doing well at 6, but on top of that, we got Jazz Tavanga out. He's done his hamstring. We might not see him maybe again this year.
So my worry was all my TAB happenings go based off about minute worth of shots in the shed just before the teams run out.
Right.
And it usually is completely right.
Yeah.
Manly were slapping each other in the face, chest bumps. They were hard out.
Yeah.
The Wazzers was so chilled out.
Really?
So chilled out. And I was like,
what does that mean?
Here we go. And I went, okay, I'll cover my bets. I'll put a cheeky little thing on Manly 1 to 12 because I thought, actually, this might cover my loss. Yeah. But thankfully, I didn't need it. Then they came out. full credit to Manly. They played hard out. At halftime, I actually went, well, if Manly win this, they deserve to win it. They've been playing hard out. But the Warriors held in there.
Yeah.
Our main issue was our left-hand edge, which is Metcalf, Jackson Ford was in there for a bit, Metcalf, Pompey, Montoya, right? I do wonder if going into finals whether Tamati Martin slots in on that side to shore up that defence, because that left edge has been wanting a little bit defensively. We shouldn't have let in all three of those tries.
Yeah.
That first try was let in. It was Adam Fanua-Blake just missed a tackle, then he just danced through. But, yeah, I mean, sure we can pick on little things, but I feel these are things that don't need a lot of coaching. They just need a bit of mental effort to turn it around.
That's right. And despite all of these things that, all of these holes that you'd like to pick in the Warriors, because we are going into the finals, like you say, we are winning them, and we're winning them ugly, and that's what finals footy is going to look like. Like when we get into the playoffs, this is how these games are going to be decided. They're going to be gross. They're going to be ugly. There's going to be some wild calls that go against and for us, but it's just about trying to find a way. You mentioned that Manly, they looked good. They scored every opportunity they got. They had one overturned. We had one overturned. Saab ran in, I think, 2, maybe almost 3 tries.
He ran in 3 in that first half. He had a first half hat trick. He had way too much space, to be honest. However, the big change was in that second half when Josh Curran came in. He shored up that left-hand side.
He looked great.
Something's hard out. He plays with a lot of intensity,
High
and I love... It's interesting. Last year he was a long minutes player. This year they seem to be bringing him on in the little 20-minute attack. You notice it so much when Dylan Walker comes on.
Yeah,
his
time.
Speed. I felt we lacked a bit of line speed.
Until Dylan came on, I thought.
So we leaked 3 tries off errors from the kickoff.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's not a good stat.
That's just a switch as well, isn't it?
We had ball got kicked off, tackle, Wigan flicks it to Bunty. Awkward pass on the shoulder. Yeah. Should have held it. Poor Bunty looked bummed out.
He had the first 10 minutes from hell when he came on. He missed the tackle, the turnover.
Yeah, and then we had that really weird turnover where they just went for a hardcore short kickoff and Niokore knocked it on.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't really a knock on, it just went like a bullet in and out of his belly.
Yeah.
But then that led to another try.
Yes,
and then there was something in the second half I've forgotten, but I remember Webby saying in the press conference there were 3 knock-ons there. So you take those off the table. We did well. Where I worry is it was any time either side was in the 20, they scored.
It was on.
It was on. And Manly are a great attacking side.
They are.
And we just took our opportunities, and we won.
Yeah, 100%. And Sean Johnson, it's just so good to have a weapon like him in our team to ice a game like that. What do you make of his quads? Obviously, the kicking duties have been given to the AMP show, Adam Pompey, for the last couple of weeks.
Can we just say, the AMP show delivered the candy floss and spades, drilling one from the sideline under pressure and drilling the next one that was maybe 15 metres in from the sideline.
Yeah, I think it was 4 from 5 on the night.
Those last 2 were game-winning pressure kicks.
Yeah.
So that made me strong. I actually think maybe Webby's doing this. Sure, we don't want to push Sean, but it's quite good to give your backup kicker some pressure kicks.
Yeah, some reps.
But, especially, and the fact that he drilled those, because you're up against DCE, who is just smashing them from the sideline.
Yeah.
And they...
Garrick can rifle them through too.
You bear in mind that Manly had their season on the line. They had everything to play for.
Yeah.
I was a bit worried that it was amazing that it was Daniel Anderson Stadium.
Yep.
It's a tragedy what happened to Daniel Anderson. I'm so stoked that rugby league community has just got behind him and seriously raising some money and some awareness and some support for him. But these big emotional games,
Yeah.
I feel they're a bit of a road bump for us sometimes. I like our games where it's just a normal week.
Yeah.
It's a normal week. Everyone's doing the normal stuff. There was high emotion in that game. And
because he would have talked to them before the game. He was around the club all week, wasn't he? And it was Old Boys Day, so that's why he was there as well. So all of the other old boys were floating about. So, yeah.
And outside of just the rugby league, though, we're talking pre-potty about this. How good is the Warriors organisation at putting on the game day experience? It's unbloody rivaled. When they run out and the flames are going and it's dark and it's the green, red and blue lights, it's awesome.
Yeah, the smoke machines, the laser... whatever you made of the laser show at halftime, the spywire men filling out the crowd. That is one of the loosest puns that I've ever seen, spywire men.
Also, a loose pun that they've managed to get about 60 dudes on board with as well.
Yeah. It's incredible to watch them all. I saw a video of them showing up to the game in the back of a truck and about 20 spywire men came out. I love my favourite part, and I think I said this on the commentary, is some of the dudes are in pretty good shape, so they got the skin suit on. Some of the guys probably aren't where they want to be in their weight loss journey, so they're wearing like rugby jerseys over the top or like a basketball singlet or something like that. They've got signs where we're a very sign-based community, the Warriors fandom.
Also, full respect, we're dropping some great signs.
Oh, tremendous signs. There was just so many. I can't even remember the ones that they had, but they're just, I don't know. It was quite corny, some of the signs that they had up there.
Because what I love, what was a quote I heard yesterday? Oh, no, it's from Stacey Jones. He's on Face to Face this week where they interview a league player. Yeah. And Stacey Jones is, the thing about the Warriors is when we're losing, they're a team from Auckland. But when we're winning, they're a team from New Zealand.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, great kit. Great signs. We've got one of the best home ground advantages at the moment, and the Aussies are starting to talk about that as well. I want to get on to CNK. So he made the tackle on Reuben Garrick. Reuben Garrick was launched into the air. So it was a kick, charged down, bounced into the ground, went flying up in the air. He jumps into the air to catch it. Chance Nickel-Klokstad's coming through and to tackle him, but he's up in the air, so Chance just takes his legs out. He lands flat on his back. Couldn't finish the game.
Which is a legal tackle because it wasn't off a kick.
That's exactly it. So it's a technicality. If that had to come directly off someone's foot, then you're not allowed to tackle the player in the air. But because it came off someone's hand or like guts,
or
then you are allowed to.
Or if he was a kicker who had kicked the ball and was in the air, you wouldn't be allowed to touch him.
That's right. It's quite squirrely, I think. And Peter V'landys came out today and said they're going to look at that rule next year to see if they can change that. My issue with that is, if you're not allowed to tackle someone in the air when they're catching the ball off a pass, isn't every player just going to leap into the air as they catch the ball so that you can't tackle them? Just come running at you and launch myself into the air.
And even if you're catching it around your knees, you're just in the air so you can't be tackled.
Yeah, do a flip to catch it just so that then they're going to have to leave you. How does that work?
So when I watched this game, my initial thought was penalty all day.
I thought red card season.
Because I was like, oh, dude, he peeled him.
Yeah.
He was in the air. James Graham made an interesting point on this. He could have been penalised for tackling below the knee, attacking below the knee.
Oh,
because he actually hit him on his calf.
That's an interesting one.
And you're not allowed to attack below the knee.
Yeah.
However, he landed flat on his back. You can get the bloody ruler out with the bubble on it.
Yeah.
The level.
Sure.
Was he above the horizontal? He was actually horizontal.
Yeah.
He wasn't beyond the horizontal.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was just that he was about 2 meters up in the air when the tackle occurred. And it is, I don't know, it's such a squirrely one.
It's a hard one because, as we were saying, the naked eye said penalty.
100%.
It was a huge moment because Manly win that game if that's a penalty, I reckon, because they then kick it.
Well, it was 22-all.
This was the charge down. It was 22-all charge down. Mm-hmm. So that would have taken them to 24.
Yep.
22.
Kick off back to them.
Also, Marata Niakore's try relied on Reuben Garrick not being able to chase him properly.
Yes, yeah.
He busted through. Reuben Garrick was hot on his heels and pulled up.
Yeah.
Because as amazing that try was, Marata wasn't like going at grease lightning speed.
They made him look like it though, didn't they? With the chase.
When he was at full tit though, I would hate to tackle him front on.
Yeah, this was a thing. Like when we went out and met them, he is one of the larger human beings that you will come across, and I don't think you really realise that. That's why he was such a big signing for us in the off season. I don't think he's quite had the season that he could have had. Well,
because he's on average suspended every 4 games this year.
Yeah,
so it's not ideal. I love him as a player, and him being fit, firing, and on the park is big for us in finals.
Yeah, it's massive.
He's a big minute player as well, which I like.
Yeah.
Every week, Tohu seems to have another 4 meters of 3M tape wrapped around him.
He's held together exclusively by tape, eh?
The dude is just a machine. I came out of that game when we iced that game. That try from Murata was like, okay. Yeah. Then we set up for the field goal. We had one of the slowest play of the balls leading into that field goal.
Yeah.
I don't know how Shawnee J iced that.
Got that away. They should have been able to charge that down. That, though, was clinical. Do you remember earlier on in the season when the Panthers went to Golden Point and they received the kickoff, they marched up the field, and then Nathan Cleary slotted the drop goal and they won it on the first play.
But he slotted it from like the 40-metre line on the sideline.
Yeah. He did, but all of the highlights were, have a look at how ruthlessly efficient the Panthers are this year. It took them 5 tackles, they got into the position, and then he hit it. Well, that's exactly what we did to ice that game. We took our 5 hit-ups. Adam Fanua-Blake was on a different page than I think Sean Johnson was, because when he rolled over to play that ball, like you say, he was chewing a bit of clock.
He was in there, right? We've actually got about 4 minutes on it.
Meanwhile, Shawnee's screaming at him like, no, we're going to ice this. And he did it. He put them 2 converted tries ahead. And it was, no one's talking about how like ruthlessly efficient we iced that game out, but doesn't matter. We don't need that. We charge on into the top 4.
No, looking at some numbers around that game, we had an 80% completion rate.
Not bad.
We had 54% of possession. We had 45 sets, and 36 of them were completed. So I think we did pretty well. You're right. Pompey went 4 out of 5. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Well, 1 out of 1 on field goals. And, of course, who topped the running meters? AFB.
Oh,
Adam Fanua-Blake is maybe one of the most important players. I actually almost put him on par with Sean Johnson.
No, I do.
Because the fact that his post-contact meters mean we're always going forward, which means Sean's getting the ball.
Yeah.
I'd also like to say I think Luke Metcalf's really starting to slot in. He's fast as when he gets going. There was one moment which I think led to the Tohu try, where he danced through on the left-hand side of the field, and I thought he maybe had one more pass that would have put Montoya in.
Yeah, well, this is interesting because I think that is actually his role. I wonder if that's a directive he's been given by Webby, because he is a running half, and I think that quite often that's the only knock on him, is he probably could have given that extra pass. It's almost every week, but I do wonder if he's just been told, look, this is your role. This is like, try and simplify it for him. When you get it, just go hell for leather. See if they can stop you. Don't worry about the pass. Just go down with it. Because he's been, like you say, he's been electric whenever that happens. And it cuts down on those, because we've been so clinical this year, it cuts down on those 50-50 balls that in the past the Warriors have been known for.
Look, I love not throwing the 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
A few games back, he made a massive break and just took the tackle.
Yeah.
Because we're only on the second tackle.
Yeah.
That's how we should do it.
That's right.
And
it's not Rasley, but, it wins games.
We've won 6 games in a row.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. I think, was it the last time that we did that was 2002? So, first grand final. We've got 2 more games. It's
also,
not inconceivable.
bear in mind, Manly have beaten us 14 out of 17 times.
They're not a bad team, even
so they've won at Mount Smart. They've won 11 out of 14 games. So they're massively our bogey team. And I think it's 11 out of 14 games. You can't quote me on that, but hey, who's into quoting these days?
Yeah.
So beating a bogey team is huge. Obviously, I know there was a lot of love out there for us to maybe put a cricket score on them and like establish. Part of me is wondering, do we need to, one, either put a cricket score on the Dolphins or Dragons or Dolphins, or do we need a loss?
Yeah. I don't think we need a loss. I feel like maybe Chris has been saying this the last few weeks. He wants a loss so that we can.
Yeah, but we've established earlier that Chris is a loser, right? So he's he had a massive loss. He got pomaned out of the 09.
And how did that go for him?
Exactly. He woke up at 10 a.m. in the disabled toilets at the Red Fox Tavern on Sunday. So that's what happened to him. But
it just doesn't get rugby league.
I don't think that we need a loss. I think that we have got an amazing coach who seems to just push when we need a bit of pushing, finesse. I think we're in that finessing point. We're not. We don't. There aren't gaping holes and issues.
No, it's fine tuning.
It's fine tuning. Jazz is a big loss.
Jazz is a huge
loss. So that's. Have you heard any word on how bad that hammy is?
No, but he took to social media to express his frustrations, and the Warriors posted that as well. But I mean, hammies are brutal for such an easy injury to do. They take a long time.
He's had a big out as well.
Yeah, he said that this has been a pretty shit year for him, and to be fair, it has. We really need him. I think him and Dylan Walker coming off the bench together are greater than the sum of their parts. You know, there's something about the two of them that really changed the dynamic of the game. I think
as they're playing on different sides of the field, and it just creates so many eyes. Like I was looking at how good the Warriors attack are. You can actually see how fluid our players if you watch the Bunnies attack. The Bunnies got pulled up twice for lead runners standing in the line on tries. The Warriors run this really fluid play where it's going usually right, and it goes, you've got Johnson, Tohu, CNK is usually running a line. You've got Marata Niokore running a line that Johnson hits a lot, so then when he doesn't, it surprises them. They've got so many people to keep their eyes on, but they all run straight through the line without contacting the defenders, and that leaves that space for DWZ to do his put down in the corner. Or how epic was his bump off on Jake Arthur?
Oh my God. That was the audio that we heard there before. It was so incredibly, such a single effort, solo effort, that I didn't even think he was going to score. Like you would have heard in the commentaries then. I was excited for all of the tries except for that one.
Because he was about 20 metres out. I was like, he's gone inside, right? He must be a settling tackle. Boom, he hit Arthur. Then he just stepped around a few and then just banged it down. He is having a cracker of a season.
He is. Much maligned as well, I thought, when he came to the Warriors. I thought people were like, geez, this guy's not all that, you know, Kiwi's captain, what's he done lately?
But he's one of the highest paid wingers in the comp, though. Yeah. So there was a reason why people were a bit, but then, as we've said before, you know a good coach when you've got a handful of players having their best season ever.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening at the Wars.
Yeah, yeah, heaps of them are. So we're looking forward to that rolling on.
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, what are you getting the ref's room number, mate?
All right, let's move on before we get too waylaid. Now it's time for the stonker of the round.
Simpkin from dummy half, he'll reach out. A big gap on the outside there of Jared Wallace. Comes the Nicarima out the back. Here is Fuller. Beats Kupoa off the right foot. Went past Coruscant. Went past everybody. Oh, Trey Fuller. Goes back to O'Sullivan. Here's Asako. Midfield. Wants to take the lead and has. Pythagoras still rooms. Here is Coruscant. Does he have the legs? Off the crossbar. He kicked it.
Oh, you gotta love Vossi, don't you?
Pythagoras still rules. That's a great line.
Yeah, he's big into his hypotenuses. Vossi.
Hey, what a game. First of all, a guy scored in the 43rd minute for the Dolphins called Jack Bostock. That's just such an Aussie name. Jack Bostock.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this game to pop like it did.
No, and it did.
Benji's taken over the Tigers from Tim Sheens. This was his first official game as head coach, and they play. When I say they played amazingly, Epi Coruscant
Yeah.
is the best signing they've had. He plays with passion,
Yep.
with heart. He was involved in every single thing, and he did the old bounce it off the black dot over.
Well,
What balls does it take when you're not really a frontline kicker
No.
to go, I'll kick it from the sideline?
yeah. For the win, I think it went off the upright, then off the crossbar and over.
Yeah, it
for
was the
win.
wonkiest kick.
I know. I remember watching this game and just thinking, oh, God, I don't give a shit about this game at all. And it was going back and forth. It was quite a ding-dong battle, wasn't it, in that second half? Particularly that fourth quarter, they both scored. And you're like, hang on a second. This might be a bit of a good game. And then all of a sudden, it just built to this crescendo of Api, who I think I've never seen a clearer example of someone giving up on a season than Api Coruscant's haircut at the moment.
Oh,
he
yeah.
hasn't had a haircut in months. And
Also, when you know that league players are usually the ones for the Friday fade, eh?
Yeah.
They always have a crisp fade for Friday.
So I think this is quite a clear fuck you to the West Tigers organisation from Api.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
West Tigers organisation. Did you watch the after celebration?
No.
The West Tigers came onto the field. They wanted to honour Luke Brooks for his 11-year service because Luke Brooks won't play for the West Tigers again.
Right. What?
They walked on and they all surrounded a budget beefeater barbecue, which they gave to him.
They gave him a barbecue.
They gave him the, middling lower end barbecue you get at a hardware store. So they walk out, they're all in a line. Luke Brooks is sort of waving, take photos. Benji points to the barbecue. Luke Brooks is like, oh, yeah, what is barbecue? Waves the photo. He gets pulled over. They lift the barbecue up. He looks in the barbecue like there might be a gift in there.
10 grand or
Then
something.
just shuts it. And they're just like, there's a barbecue for you, mate. And there was the dude, the Mr. Minute dude, who just engraved it and stuck the thing on it.
What? Live engraving.
For an 11-year service. How's he going to take a huge barbecue home?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. The logistics are not. Wait, so hold on. Did they have the guy there like it was Wimbledon and they were engraving the winner on the barbecue
on the
during the
like
game?
a little plate on the barbecue.
Like that franchise is a joke at the moment.
But it's who won? Who went? Hey, at the end of the game, let's give Luke Brooks a massive but quite cheap barbecue. And then someone goes, "Nah, great idea." Oh
my God,
Actually,
yeah.
is anyone going past the Bunnings on the way there? yeah. Oh no. Hey, should we assemble it or give it to him in a flat pack? Let's build it during the game. We'll get the dude to engrave it when we've finished it. But also, how's he going to take that home? Hey, thanks, guys. Wheeling his barbecue up the tunnel.
Yeah, holding his kid. Well, I've got like a group of friends who give each other a bread maker whenever someone gets married because the joke is you've now got to fly back to wherever you live with this bread maker and check it in with your luggage. That's exactly what they've done to him. And I love the idea of them sitting in a meeting, like you say, and then someone being like, and actually after the game, guys, we've got this really special gift that we thought we'd give to Luke Brooks. And everyone in the room going, oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, 11 years.
So Hindy did a good thing on that late night with Matty Johnson because he found Morgan Harper actually won a meat pack this week. So he had the picture of Luke Brooks with his new barbecue going to Manly and Morgan Harper just standing awkwardly in the changing sheds with heaps of meat.
Yeah, that was brilliant. My only thing with this game, despite the great finish, is that we are in garbage time in the National Rugby League. Some of these teams, both of those teams, couldn't make it into the playoffs.
No, well, as you see, it's like tipping's getting easier and easier.
Yes.
Favourites are sort of starting to win.
Yeah, and I know that because as a long-term Warriors fan, this is the time of year where we start really shitting the bed, and so we haven't. So that's been great for us. But as much as this game was a stonker, and it was like a meaningless stonker. It didn't matter that happened.
No, and just touching on another game there, Penrith look unbeatable.
Yep.
Penrith, they're not a star team, even though Nathan Cleary's a star, obviously. They just play to a system and don't make any mistakes.
No, and actually, one of the most underrated things about them is that they're the best defensive team by a landslide. Because you think of them and you're like, geez, Tungall's having a breakout. Tor's mean, Crichton's mean.
But they're just like quiet workhorses in the middle.
Well, they turn you back on every tackle. So they're back and they're reset. And it's just like running through mud to try and play against them.
And I feel whoever plays them, and I'm making an assumption here, but I feel they have to be in the grand final. Whoever plays them, Penrith are going to have an off game, and the other team are going to have the game of their lives.
Yep.
So you're going to need a lot of stars to align to beat Penrith. If the Wars beat Penrith in a grand final, I don't know if I can watch rugby league again. Like, it might be like, well, what? Why should I watch it again?
If they win this year, it's almost like the Warriors of NBA fame when they had Kevin Durant and all that, and every year it was just like, well, who's going to come second to the Warriors this year?
Yeah.
And it could get a little bit like that. I think we've got sort of like fourth year syndrome with them where people are sort of sick of talking about them.
And I think everyone also thought that they would slip down the rankings considering, they lost Kikau.
Yeah.
They sort of had a bit of a reshuffle with a few people. Api Coruscant left.
Yep.
But no, they've just evened out. I mean, over time, it will change because they can't keep everyone on board. It's looking like Luai might have to go and I don't know.
You got to pay Tungall.
Yeah.
You got to pay him. Someone's going to pay him. The bloke's like 21. He looks untackleable on days. So, yeah, it is.
So they're going to be an amazing team to beat. But, yeah, we've got a couple more rounds of footy. There's the Stonkers are sort of, I suppose the Stonkers are now falling more around teams like North Queensland and the Roosters, who are sitting in that 9th and 10th spot. Yeah. Will South stay in the 8th? Newcastle are just finding some epic form at the moment. But the thing is, I was talking about us winning in a bit of a form slump. Then you've got these other teams like Newcastle that have just played balls to the wall for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Can they keep that going all through finals? Or are we just keeping our powder dry, then we'll step up to the next level?
I'd much rather be in the position where we are than where Newcastle are, having to really just ramp up to even get to where we are. On the weekend as well, thanks to our mates at 4 and 20, the ACC team managed to give away a whopping 350 vouchers on the way out. So we were parked on the gate as people were leaving Mount Smart Stadium. Vouchers were gone within about 5 minutes, so hopefully you managed to grab one as you exited the game. So make sure that you keep an eye out whenever you're at these games for the ACC team. I usually take that ute home, so I had no way to get home that day. But it was, it was doing the Lord's work.
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, what are you getting the ref's room number, mate?
The Dragons are playing us this weekend. It's already sold out. In fact, it was sold out, I believe, on Saturday, like a full week out from the game.
Dude, also, I was looking at the crowd. Often there's a sellout, but there's some empty seats, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was packed.
Oh, no, that was standing room only.
And the Dragons look packed. And how good. I've never heard a New Zealand crowd chant.
Yes.
Like, we were chanting. The Warriors chant was epic. Seeing that video of everyone singing the team song.
Yes, that broke out in the crowd.
Dude,
that's never happened before.
Dude, how awesome is it to see? I was looking at a couple of league fans online were saying, the Aussies, saying how awesome it is watching the Warriors home games because we actually have a diverse cultural crowd.
Massively.
Like, you watch a Newcastle game or whatever, it's just like 20,000 white miners.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, we've got such a vibe out at that stadium. The chanting, the singing, the spider wasp.
It's the best ticket in the country at the moment, the Warriors.
Yeah, and full props to the Warriors organisation for putting on such a primo game day. Full props to everyone who's showing up there, whether you're a day one fan or a bandwagoner. You're behind the team. It's awesome. We need this, to be honest, this Dragons game is a game we need to put some points on.
Yep. So you want to see a cricket score from this one?
No, not a cricket score. I want to see points and no points against.
A netball score.
I would love to just watch a game of netball. What I'd love to see here is the Dragons kept to about 4 or 6.
Yeah.
And the Warriors put on 20 plus.
Yeah, right. Maybe a shutout, perhaps.
A shutout would be absolutely amazing. They've got like Amone, Sullivan. They've got some nice players.
They got Mr. Ravalawa.
Oh, Mr. Ravalawa.
I like Zach Lomax. He is another one of these players that
I don't like Zach Lomax.
I feel like he looks like he should have played for the Warriors because he will either carve you apart and score an individual try, or he will lose the game for you.
I know why I don't like Zach Lomax, because he looks like Sam Tompkins.
Oh, yeah. Sam Tompkins owes the club a lot of money.
One of the most, the worst signings the Warriors have done, who would slip over at any point in time.
Yeah, it's a Southern Hemisphere soil. He's not built for it. Zach Lomax's nose comes straight out of his forehead, just like my dog when I was growing up. And but I like him. I think that he could lose them this game, or he could blow us wide apart. Yeah,
he's a dangerous player. He's a guy who a bit like when you're playing South Sydney. I reckon you got a niggle early. And then he loses his head a bit, and then you'll do a swinging arm or some stuff like that.
Yeah. So I know you want them to score 20-something to 4. Is that how you see it playing out?
Yeah, it is. I think we're overdue for a good, a complete performance.
Yep. You don't see a banana peeler out of this?
No, I want to fall back on our defence from earlier in the year, where we just play for each other, we defend hard, that left edge just shuts everything down. Is Lomax on the left?
Yes, on their right. I believe so, because he's a big proponent of the right-hand flick pass out to Ravalawa.
Oh, yeah. So Ravalawa on Montoya. Yep. I feel this is a game Montoya's going to come back into form. He's going to shake the shadow of the pants man off him, and he's going to just be flying. He's going to be flying in for a few tries because he's been a bit quiet recently.
How's this for taunting? So if you're not up with the play, the notorious pants man Joel Harrison, he works with Montoya's wife and regularly pests her around the office. The other day he walked in a Marcelo Montoya T-shirt, so with the photos of his face all over it. What kind of message is he sending there? How's the head noise on Mrs. Montoya?
Hit Montoya up for Josh Curran's headgear. Like, come on, mate. There's one thing asking for something of him, but here to go.
Yeah, I don't know. The notorious pants man needs to be careful here. Look, I just think with this game, I put the banana peel question in there. I wanted to ask you to see if you thought I have heard people say that this is the kind of game that the Warriors lose.
Yeah, but then, look, all year, mate, we've gone, like the Warriors typically does, and we're not the Warriors of years gone by.
No, but the other thing that I keep hearing, and I hear it from the Fox Sports pundits and that, is, well, teams at this time of the year, they've got nothing to lose, and that makes them more dangerous. Having watched the Warriors in this situation, it does not make them more dangerous. It makes them so much more prone to rolling over. If you know that your team and the Dragons cannot make the 8 in any world.
No, so the Dragons are, let me just double check this.
Second from the bottom.
No, the Dragons are actually fighting not to get the wooden spoon. Because West
are on 14.
Are 2 points behind them, right? And next week, Wests play the Roosters, which the way Wests are playing and the way Roosters are playing, West could jag a win.
I just think that these teams, I really think they are more prone to rolling over. They're not playing for each other anymore. I just don't think that they're more dangerous. So I think this one's going to be a pretty clear win for the Wars, and we're... I don't know if I can say this or not, but we're working on potentially heading out there, maybe, if we can do the commentary
in an
out
ideal scenario, you're going to see your boys at the game. But either way, we're going to be commentating it. I'm going to be on the mic. It is 8 p.m. This Friday night. May the Auckland skies provide... So Auckland does 1 hour a day where it doesn't rain, right? Yeah. Let's hope that 1 hour... can be from 8. Imagine if Auckland could actually have an hour and a half without rain that Friday. And
8 till 9:30.
8 till 9:30. Get some points on the board.
Yep.
You can't get out to the game because it's sold out, but get on the TV screen. Tune in to us. The ACC will be bringing you all of the coverage from 7:55.
Well, hang on a second, Di, because you can get into the game. Dulux want to send you and your mates to the game, to this week's sold-out game, Wars vs Dragons, with enough cash to sort you and your mates out while you're there. We're talking 2 prize packs of 3 general admission tickets for this Friday the 25th at Go Hard Mount Smart Stadium, plus $100 cash. all thanks to the great New Zealanders at Dulux. So this is the only way that you can get to this game. If you want to do that, text DRAGON to 3236. Text DRAGON to 3236, and you will go in the draw to win that. Do that early doors because we want to get these tickets out to you very early as well.
Or if you can fully stir a paint can of Off-White without using your arms, legs, hands or feet, you're in.
You're in. All right. So Dragon.
Don't listen to me, only listen to what Manaia said.
Dragon to 3236. All right, let's get into a little bit of everyone's favourite new segment, Stats Man.
I'm the Stats Man.
That's the greatest sting.
Yeah, we haven't upgraded that sting because we thought, should we? And then, well, actually, no, that really fits in our wheelhouse.
That is the most excellent piece of audio to ever grace a podcast. I love it.
Short and sharp on the Stats Man today. As of the recording time of this, which was 12:30 p.m. on Monday, the 21st of August, in the 24 hours preceding that time, 42,800 people have said to me, up the wires. Every single honestly, what I love is up the wires has gone from up the wires to like people like just a guy walked past me in the dairy and is up the wires.
And also with you. Yeah, 100%.
Like it's real quiet, like up the wires, mate.
We were talking about this last week. We want people to start sliding it into everyday, speech. When you're getting off the plane, mā te wā, up the wires. We saw a guy at the Beer Awards. That video did the rounds this weekend, and he was like up the wire. So your next gig, maybe your next stand-up gig, Dai, if you get out there, just a little up the wires.
Kia ora ko Dai Henwood ho up the wires. It's just the thing is, I love that it's gone from just like guy ran this morning, guy on his morning run, puffing ass. He's got glasses on. He's sweaty. He's just up the wires. I just love it that it's now part of the vernacular. Yeah. We've seen it a million times. The young girl being interviewed by William Wairua. Yeah. Just saying her favourite team. She's just up the wires.
Reece Walsh. They were asking all the players. Ezra Mam did one last week as well. Have
you seen the Warriorholic trying to get Willie Mason to say it?
Oh, no.
It's him going, give us an up the wires. And Willie Mason goes, yes.
Saw Willie Mason last week.
He hates the up the wires.
I know.
He seems like a good unit, Willie Mason. He was in the lounge, eh? He was in the lounge at the Wars, I think.
Right.
A bit of a talk.
That's not where I saw him. I saw him across at the gym at a boxing class. He walked in, took one look at me and decided, fuck that, walked back out again. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, unfortunately.
Not fucking the Musashi powerhouse.
Yeah, I was lighting up the bag and he thought, I'm not keen on this.
And then he looked over, there was a jazzercise class with Keezy in it. He goes, yeah, I'll go hang out with these losers.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, spread around up the wires. All right, Di, it's now time for you to come off the back fence.
Oh, a long kickoff. The offload to Henwood, and he's got the back fence. Boom time.
How good. How good. This is what I've been saying all year. How good are the NRL referees? I bloody love them. Like, look, man, how good are the refs, eh? This is what I'm talking about. Since round one, I've been like, damn, that was a good ref. Now, I'll see if I'll just look this up so I get his pronunciation right. Todd Smith was amazing on the weekend. Todd Smith knocked it out of the park. Chance Nickel-Klukstad comes in. Textbook tackle on Reuben Garrick. Textbook tackle on Reuben Garrick. Laid him flat on his back, out of danger.
Bootlaces.
He took him it was a grass clipping tackle. He absolutely just went for the legs, took him down, and Todd Smith was legal tackle. Bunker looked at it. No issue there from Casey Badger. How good are the refs? Absolutely love them. As a Warriors fan, they stand by us. They give us the 50-50 calls. I'm there for them the whole time. A second, how good's the fans? I mentioned it before. You're chanting, you're vibing. It's coming through the TV screen. I had to see whether I had a bloody 3D Samsung frame smell-o-vision situation going on because it was horrendously smelly in my living room. Nothing to do with the league. Little issue I had with an avocado and egg white. Won't go into that. But hey, Always use a condom, kids. Now, what I'm saying is how good's the fans, you know? They're out there, they're supporting the Wars, they're getting behind the teams, they're getting behind these amazing referees the NRL are providing. All I've got to say is, how good.
Up the fans, up the refs, and up the Wars. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back with Supercoach later on Wednesday. Join Dai and Keezy for the coverage of the Dragons this Friday night. Let's go on.
Let's go.
And Australia without rugby league is not Australia.